Good afternoon. I'm Martin Petrov, the Chief of the Office of the Registrar. Welcome to today's press briefing. I will first turn to two key decisions rendered since the last press briefing was held 2 weeks ago. On Thursday, the 23rd of June, the Tribunal's President, Judge Patrick Robinson, denied Johan Tarczulowski's motion for early release on the basis that he has not yet served 2/3 of his sentence. Tarczulowski, a former police officer of the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment by the trial chamber in July 2008 for crimes committed against ethnic Albanians during the conflict in his country in 2001. On the 19th of May 2010, the appeals chamber rejected all grounds of appeal and upheld his sentence. Tarczulowski is now awaiting transfer to serve his sentence in a country which has signed an agreement for the enforcement of sentences with the tribunal. On Wednesday, the 29th of June, Trial Chamber 2 denied Micho Stanisic's request for provisional release during the summer recess on the basis of a lack of compelling humanitarian grounds. The appeals chamber is currently considering the accused's appeal against this decision. Turning now to the courtroom schedule, proceedings in the case of Ratko Mladic adjourned on Monday until further notice after the trial chamber entered pleas of not guilty on behalf of the accused. The chamber will schedule a status conference in due course and the media will be informed accordingly. Vojislav Šešel's initial appearance in his third contempt of court case will be held this afternoon at 3 o'clock in courtroom 1. Šešel, who is the leader of the Serbian Radical Party, currently standing trial at the tribunal for alleged war crimes committed in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia and Vojvodina in Serbia between 1991 and 1994, is accused of failing to remove confidential information from his personal website in violation of orders of the chamber. The order in lieu of an indictment against Šešel was issued on the 9th of May 2011 and made public on the 24th of May 2011. A status conference in the appeals case of Milan and Sredoje Lukic will be held this Friday at 10 a.m. in courtroom 2. In July 2009, Milan Lukic was sentenced to life and Sredoje Lukic was sentenced to 30 years imprisonment for crimes against humanity and war crimes committed in the eastern Bosnian town of Visegrad. Hearings in the cases of Radovan Karadzic, Micho Stanisic and Stojan Župljanin, Jovica Stanisic and Franko Simatovic, as well as Zdravko Tolimir, continue this week and next as scheduled. In the Karadzic case, the trial chamber is currently hearing the testimony of a protected witness who is testifying in closed session. In the Stanisic and Župljanin case, defense witness Goran Mačar is currently testifying. Mačar was a professional policeman and chief of general crime prevention in the Secretariat of Interior in Sarajevo. During the second half of 1992, Mačar was the coordinator and the head of the Crime Prevention Administration in the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Republika Srpska. He is testifying about events on the ground and assignment of responsibilities. In the trial of Jovica Stanisic and Franko Simatovic, a protected witness is currently testifying in closed session. The witness has been called by the defense, Stanisic. This afternoon, the testimony of Dusan Janc, an investigator within the Office of the Prosecutor, will resume in the trial of Zdravko Tolimir. Turning now to the prosecution.
Hello, my name is Frederique Swinnen. I'm a special advisor to the prosecutor. Welcome to The Hague. I understand you'll meet the prosecutor in about half an hour. I have nothing to add to what my colleague Martin said, so no official statement from the Office of the Prosecutor.
Okay, thanks. Are there any questions then? Please.
I wonder if you could update us on the matter of the representation of Ratko Mladic. The accused expressed a preference during his further initial appearance on Monday for two specific lawyers. According to reports in the media, one of them says himself that he does not fulfill the conditions to be admitted here at the tribunal to represent an accused, and the other one says he is not interested. I wonder if consultations are ongoing between the registry and the accused on this matter of representation, and if consultations are ongoing, on other possibilities than those two lawyers, because in the registry submission dated 30th of June, there is talk of a list of lawyers that has been submitted by the accused that might contain other names than the two names mentioned during the further initial appearance.
Yeah. Thank you for this question. I'm actually very glad to answer it because there has been a lot of speculation in the media on this specific point. The reality is that Mr. Mladic submitted a list of 7 counsel to the registry on the 22nd of June in order of preference. The 2 lawyers whose names he mentioned during the further initial appearance on Monday were also on that list, in addition to 5 others. The registry has been facilitating meetings with lawyers from that list because Mr. Mladic had expressed an interest in meeting with each one of them prior to making a final determination as to his representation. We were a little bit taken by surprise by his statement on Monday when he limited the list to those 2 who were on the initial list. And just for your information, consultations are of course ongoing, and the registry is currently working very actively, as a matter of fact, with both lawyers requested by Mr. Mladic to facilitate a meeting between them and Mr. Mladic. Mr. Šalić, who is obviously Mr. Mladic's lawyer from Belgrade, was already here last Saturday. The reason why he couldn't travel earlier was because, as far as I understand, he didn't have a passport to actually leave Serbia. The registry has been in contact with both of them between Monday and today, and further meetings have been scheduled in all likelihood next week. As for Mr. Šalić's representations that due to his inability to speak English or French, he cannot be appointed as counsel. That is correct in part because indeed under the rules, counsel appointed by the tribunal under the legal aid system must speak English or French as one of the preconditions for assignment. Having said that, that is a condition sine qua non for lead counsel, but the language requirement could be waived exceptionally if the interests of justice so require for a co-counsel. So in theory, assuming that all other qualification requirements are met, Mr. Šalić could in principle become co-counsel in Mr. Mladic's team.
But then you would still need a lead counsel.
Of course, you would still need a lead counsel, but that choice is still in the hands of Mr. Mladic. And as I've briefed the media previously, there have been intensive consultations between the registry and Mr. Mladic over the past 4 or 5 weeks now, in which we have been assisting Mr. Mladic with making this selection. Of course, at the end of the day, if he doesn't make a choice, there is little that the registry can do.
Is there any deadline?
Yes and no. In a way, there is a deadline in the rules, as you are aware, and this is the reason why the registrar made a submission requesting an extension of that deadline to enable that consultation process to continue. I think we are now looking at next week as a potential breakthrough to the extent that the lawyers are likely to visit next week. And assuming Mr. Mladic makes a selection, then we may be looking at a period within, I would say, 10 days maybe to assign counsel.
And the list of the lawyers that he submit remains confidential, right?
I mean, there is no specific rule on the confidentiality of that, essentially, but I think for probably privacy reasons of Mr. Mladic and the lawyers on that list, I would prefer not to reveal their names at the moment. But this makes me make the following comment. As you are aware, when an accused requests legal aid, they normally select their counsel from a list of lawyers that is provided by the registry. Not all the lawyers requested by Mr. Mladic were on that list. So this is yet another reason why the registry, I can tell, is going out of its way to assist Mr. Mladic in selecting counsel by facilitating meetings with lawyers who are not on the list.
But some lawyers were on the list.
Some lawyers were on the list indeed, yes.
But did I understand you correctly that he met actually all 7 of them?
He met most of them, but not all 7 of them yet.
But you said that he submitted this list on 22nd of June.
Correct.
But according to the registrar's recent submission, the day after he submitted a precise application for the council and lead council.
On the 29th, no, it's a procedural issue essentially. The submission of a list of preferred counsel is not in the rules, as you can imagine. This was just something that Mr. Mladic undertook on his own, at his own initiative. What triggers the assignment of counsel is the submission of a request for the assignment of counsel and the submission of a declaration of means by the accused person. This didn't take place until the 29th of June. So literally a few days before the initial appearance. And
who was on that application? Mr. Šaljić and Mezjajev, yeah?
That is correct, yes. Those names were on the list. However, as I just explained, because these 2 lawyers are not considered qualified by the registry at this moment, to the extent that they are not on the list of counsel, of course, the verification of their credentials, their admission to the Association of Defense Counsel here at the tribunal, and so on and so forth, had to take place from that moment onwards.
And General Mladic also declared his means, yeah?
Well, he submitted a declaration of means, yes.
And it's been reviewed?
It is being reviewed at the moment, indeed,
Did
yes.
he claim indigent status?
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions?
Frederick, the Karadzic trial is started a long time ago. Mladic is at pre-trial stage now. The prosecutor mentioned a few weeks ago that he is studying the option of joining the 2 cases. Has any decision been taken yet on a possible application?
No, indeed we are preparing for the Mladic trial. We're working very hard on it. The issue of joining the 2 cases, the prosecutor will probably not propose a joinder. Any decision on how we organize the case, how we manage it, that will be taken in due course. But for the time being, we are working with the operative indictment that's in place now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry for asking again, but there was something that was obviously interesting to all of us who watched the further initial appearance 2 days ago. Could you elaborate more on the inappropriate communication that allegedly took place between inappropriate exchange that happened between Mladic and the audience during his first appearance? What was that about, and how did the trial chamber came to such a conclusion? Was that because they read the media reporting, or how?
Yeah. Well, first of all, maybe I should say I wasn't personally present in the courtroom, so I couldn't really observe that myself. It was evident during the very first initial appearance of Mr. Mladic that he did communicate with the public gallery, specifically with representatives of the victims, by making certain gestures to them, and vice versa. From what I understand, similar interaction took place during the further initial appearance, which was noticed by the presiding judge, and this is why he warned Mr. Mladic on 2 occasions to discontinue that interaction. But that's all I can say at the moment, because I really am not aware of the specifics. I don't know if you know anything more about that, but...
Yeah, I don't think it's for the prosecution to comment on the decision of the judge.
And, did General Mladic come to the second initial appearance voluntarily?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I don't know what you mean. He was not forced, or he was not taken here by force, that's for sure.
I mean, that's a possibility, because his lawyer, Mr. Šaljić, was saying beforehand that he will boycott the hearing. So and then he appeared. So that's why
I understand your question, yes. I'm not familiar, I'm just not aware of the exact details, but I know for sure that he was not brought to the tribunal by force. So
there wasn't then the trial chambers
no,
order to that
no,
effect or
absolutely
something
not.
like
No,
that.
absolutely
That's what
not.
we wanted to
No.
To get back to the matter of the communication with the public gallery, some Dutch media suggested that Mladic was making gestures insulting Srebrenica victims in the public. Have you got any information that might be a basis for that assertion?
As I said, I really shared with you everything I know personally. Unfortunately, I don't have further knowledge of that.
What is clear is that there were victims among the public, in the public gallery. You may have seen that. There were more this time than at the first initial appearance. So whether there has, for us, we weren't there, whether there was direct contact with them, these are very emotional and special moments. So.
And that is why we are asking, because it is very important. We all were at the public gallery, and that is why I was there 2 years ago before. And I wonder where does this come from? Because I know what the media were reporting, and that's not what I saw in the public gallery. So I was wondering, was it that the guards reported, that the CCTV shows, or is it just that you read the media and that you read the alleged exchange between one member of the Mothers of Srebrenica who had a story about how she personally communicated with Mladic and what was the message that she sent and his response to her?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I really shared everything I know with you already, so I can't, everything else would be a speculation essentially, but I have no doubt that Judge Ori, a very experienced judge, would have had serious reasons to make this warning to the accused. Without such reasons, he wouldn't have made it. That's everything I can say. Okay, any other questions?
Judge Ori mentioned the problem with the transportation of Mladic, or the first appearance of Mladic in the court. Do you know anything about it? Mladic arguing about transportation to the court.
No, unfortunately, I can't comment on that simply because I'm not aware of what is implied. On the from our side, as you can imagine, especially the very first initial appearance of Mr. Mladic, his transportation from the detention unit to the tribunal was a serious logistical operation, and especially because there was an incredible amount of attention from the media and also victims groups and so on. So I know that everything went very smoothly, but I'm not aware of there have any problems being there, exactly.
You're talking about transportation from the detention unit to the tribunal, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I understand.
No, as I said, we were aware of the arrangements being made at the time. As you probably know, this is the responsibility of the host state, the Netherlands. They are responsible for the custody of our accused during transfer from the United Nations detention unit to the tribunal and back. They did an extremely professional job, and I am not aware of any problem. In fact, the opposite is true. It went very smoothly.
On Monday, the medical officer of the detention unit made the assessment that Mladic was fit to come to the tribunal. Is this a final assessment of his ability to stand trial, or is the process of the assessment of his health still ongoing?
There are many questions in your question. First of all, I don't think that anyone has ordered an assessment of Mr. Mladic's fitness to stand trial at this moment. That's not an issue before the chamber, as far as I'm aware. The medical officer of the detention unit performs all sorts of medical tests and examinations on every detainee, including Mr. Mladic. As I've reported previously, we have performed a number of tests on Mr. Mladic to have the full picture of his health status at the moment, and those tests, as you know, I cannot reveal any specific information about them, but all the necessary measures have been taken to ensure that his health is monitored. And if there are any indications of serious illness or life-threatening situation, the medical officer has a responsibility to inform the registrar of such situations, and we have not received such indications to date. Anyone else? All right, well then, thank you very much and have a very nice day.